Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and the RIP 101 team. We're joined, we're all here tonight for qualifying sessions 3 and 4 for the Spa endurance race for the charity Against Cancer, which is held over the weekend. I'm joined tonight by Adam Bent and Brian Larson. Adam's from Liverpool and Brian is from Germany. So welcome, guys.
I think you're a bit east there, but good evening.
I feel a bit left out as well, Chris. What's going on?
Sorry, I'm obviously new to this, and I forgot to mention that our broadcaster Steve Proudly from Scotland.
Absolutely. Well, you did say last night, Chris, that you wished you could hear that all the viewers could hear what I was saying to you in the early part of the stream, and then they would understand why you were laughing. So I just thought I'd open my mic up and let them hear.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for that, mate. So yeah, qualifying session 3 and 4. Big update. If you joined us for the screen, it was a screen last night. The stream last night. You'll know that we were rabbiting on for ages about the latest Kunos update that's thrown this whole event into slight disarray with all the teams. Big 1.8 update meant that all setups that had been developed over the course of the last 4 or 5 weeks were thrown in the bin. So the poor people that did the first 2 qualifying sessions ended up having to start from scratch and very much scramble the way through the first sessions. Tonight they've had an extra day, and just to fill you in on why we do these qualifying sessions. We have 45 teams registered for Saturday. We invite 2 drivers from each team to post qualifying results. And of those 2 drivers, we average the times out, which then determines the grid for Saturday. I've done enough speaking for right now, so I'm going to hand over to Adam. Adam, are you looking forward to this event?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been my first time commentating on a longer endurance event. I've done some small sprints. Most recently, been doing the VTCC series with the Simsport lads. But yeah, really looking forward to it. It's a while since I've been back to ACC, and as ever, cars are looking amazing, and the grid's looking stacked.
Yeah, you talk about the cars. A lot of time and effort has been put into most of the liveries for those that bother actually installing them, which is a prime example of the car we see on screen right now. Apologies for that.
Big spin from Kieran Cox, but holds it. Very star
well.
Points maybe.
Fortunately, it is just the practice session.
Yeah, I mean, the qualifying session being 20 minutes will give them probably about 8 or 9 laps to get a decent lap in. Obviously, you want to get your best lap in as soon as possible, because obviously the longer you go around, the more likely you are to get stuck in traffic. So yeah, obviously if you get a good gap at the start of the session, it could be very likely that you keep that time all the way to the end.
We did see last night's sessions the times advancing quite well. People saying lap after lap different new fastest lap records. Isn't that right, Brian?
Well, it was I think the update actually it didn't help the lap times. You had first and second stint where you had the top 1 cars very close to each other. Second stint, second and third place were, I believe, almost the same time, but I can imagine that the top teams have definitely sorted out the setups for with the new update, with the new tire model, all the stuff brought into it. I can only imagine they spent the last 24 hours getting the setup ready for this car. So yeah, it'd be okay.
Absolutely.
It'd be okay.
Well, talking about the times, let's look at the track that the drivers faced today. So as we look at the beautiful beautiful track that is set in the Ardennes Forest in Belgium. You can see that turn 1, the source is such a tight, so almost hairpin. As you go up towards through sector 1, Radion and Eau Rouge obviously being the most famous corners possibly in the world. As you come into sector 2, you've got Le Combe at the top of the hill at the end of the Kemmel Straight, followed by Bruxelles and Pouon. 13 and 14 a very fast section, followed by the slower section of Stavelot, and I can't pronounce that name. But as you come towards the end, you've got Blanchemont and obviously the infamous bus stop chicane, and that is a lap. Obviously F1 cars do it much quicker. We're looking at about maybe 2:17s to 2:20s from these GT3 cars.
Thank you very much for that, Adam.
Cheers. So as we can see, everybody's come out for qualifying now. The two S610 motorsport cars there, one of Jost Vermin, and I'm not sure who was behind him, but Dennis Verkman in that beautiful Lexus there, as everybody's out in their outlaps. So what are we predicting, lads?
I think we're looking at Robbie Stapleford's in here. Let's say 2:13 from Robbie.
Well, interestingly, it's not a McLaren. I've not actually spoken to the lads at Rocket Simsport ever, so I wouldn't know why they've chosen an Aston Martin. But obviously, Rocket normally run with the McLaren, or in history, obviously the NSX. So as we come through the bus stop now, you can see that very slow corner, normally second gear. As you come through the left hand onto the main straight here. Heading towards the source, you can see just how much speed you gather, and there's a slight uphill as well, which again you don't really realise on the cameras when you watch F1. They're going so fast you can't really see just how much elevation this amazing track has. Obviously with the reprofiling at Radion and Eau Rouge already underway in the real world, this will be the lap. Like most of the time you'll be able to see this amazing corner itself, and that'll be in the virtual world as you come through. Possibly pinning it, I can't really tell, I've got no audio, but I'm assuming he's pinning it right the way through, coming onto the Kemmel Straight here, so you're going to hit your top speed close to the end. The bravest people will brake just about as you come to the beautiful red and yellow curves at the top of the hill. Braking hard now into Le Combe, hard right, keeping it as far right and then as far left as possible to set yourself up nicely for the long right-hander here. Going downhill now into Bruxelles, again at pretty much a 180-degree corner, where you want to hug that curve as much as possible and then run as wide as you can before going back to the tight line so you can go through the corner with no name. Pretty sure that's infamous, a very famous Daniel Ricciardo overtake. But yeah, now as we come towards one of the, probably one of my favourite certain corners on the track, Pouon, it's a long left-hander here. Again, almost 180 degrees in rotation as you go around it, setting yourself up for the section known as Campus. Again, second and third gear corners here as you go fast through there. Beautifully held there by Robbie Stapleford in the Aston Martin Rocket car. And again, now through Stavelot. Beautifully held, running as wide as possible, using as much of that track as he can. So as we get towards the end of the lap here, he comes now towards Blanchemont. Again, a very, very fast corner. Normally pinned all the way through, and it looks like Robbie is. It doesn't look like there's much of a list. He goes right to that curve, using as much of the exit curve as possible. Then a heavy braking zone as we go into the bus stop again. Looks very well settled. The car twitching a little bit as he slams on the brakes, goes through the last two corners, runs it possible as wide as he can, and there we go. There is a lap of Spa.
Excellent. Well done there, Adam.
That's a very fast lap.
I was only 4 seconds off. Welcome to Mark Roddenberry as well. He's joined us in the commentary booth. You've got two teams in this tonight, have you, Mark?
I have indeed. We've got our fast boys in this one, and then we've got the slower boy in the next one.
And how do you think they're doing? How's your setup working out with the latest minor updates?
Oh, that's been a barrel of fun, hasn't it? For the B team, we've got the Ferrari. It's not been too bad for us. Just had to do a few minor tweaks. I believe the Aston guys were up till about 2 in the morning last night, completely redoing their setup. So the two guys you've got here, we've got Jack and we've got Simon in this one. It's a completely brand new setup that they've had to do, but it's the same for everyone. So, yeah.
It is, but you guys have had an extra night of practice and setting up than the unfortunate chaps that took part last night.
Yes, we have.
So there's no compensation for that.
No.
For those things.
Yeah, and it's still stuff we've got to learn. I mean, we're lucky one of our guys is actually off work this week, so he's been able to sit there and just plug away at it and really dial it all in.
And are you all looking forward to the event on Saturday?
I am mega looking forward to the event on Sunday. It's such a good cause. It's just going to be an absolutely insane event. The money raised so far has been incredible. Hats off to everyone for that.
I think the latest, as you bring that subject up, I think the latest we had was we were just under 10,000 euros raised, and that's before the event starts. So we really do have to thank all the teams and the organisers and the friends of teams and families and all that always donate and really have actually astounded us with how much has been donated so far.
It is incredible, and I think, if there is a goal in mind, I think we will exceed it over the weekend once the whole event is rolling live. I know that there's plenty of donations that I'm going to try and tap into. As a team, Positive Perception, we're going to try and do a massive social media hit excuse me, over the weekend. Try and raise it as much as we can our end.
With all due respect, you need to. You've only donated 25 euros each.
I think you should donate for every spin you do, Mark.
We have actually, I've already said to Jack that he owes 50 euros. Last night he wanted me to completely do a livery on the BMW for it for this weekend on the brand new BMW.
Well, yeah.
That's obviously a joke, that, by the way, Mark. Please don't take offence to
No. We have a goal. I actually have. I'm gonna check because the guys they've been putting into my PayPal, and it'll be transferred over the weekend. Currently, we have. Drum roll, please.
No.
Doesn't really come well across microphones, I'm afraid.
No, it's fine. We have over 100 sat there ready to.
Wow. Well, that's a great amount, and obviously, every penny counts towards this amazing cause. So, absolutely. Anything you want to say to the viewers?
To the viewers, just donate. Just get out your phones. Ignore the fact you need to buy Christmas presents for your kids and Christmas presents for yourselves. This is way more important. The gift of a life and beating a terrible disease is just the most important thing in the world.
Beautiful words, that, Mark. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
And how do people donate?
You've got a link somewhere.
Should have asked us a little bit more. But the link is in the stream description, guys. Anybody that's watching that hasn't donated and feels like it's something that either affects yourself or you want to help, the link is in the description. Feel free to donate. Every euro counts. Every euro is a step closer to helping somebody's life. But yeah. So, are you in this evening then, Mark, or were you in last night? Unfortunately, I wasn't here last night, so.
I'm not quick enough. We've got the faster drivers. We've got Simon and we've got Jack in the Positive Perception Racing A team. They're out at the moment. And then we've got Ant Brown and we had Alex McGee last night in the Positive Perception B team, going for it, as it were. They're quicker than me, so they get the honour.
I must admit, Matt, when I was processing your entry, I was slightly confused as to why the A team was a higher number than the B team. It didn't throw me a bit.
750 is my number. Steve will know this. he will know this is my number from. You never do. It's my number from going way back to the Simsport racing. It's a number I've always used, and the colour blue as well on the car. That is the Positive Perception blue. I basically said to the guys, if I'm racing, I'm having this number, whichever team I'm in. And they've all just had to deal with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And, you know, you can get some cheap advertising here. What is positive perception?
So, positive perception has many, many, many faces to it. I was waiting for that, Steve. You're a good one. In brief, everything we do is custom. I got two sides to the business. We have the beautiful liveries that I create for ACC and AC. But I also have a custom product side, so I create mugs, masks, clothing, you know, whatever you want. You can just hit me up and I will try and get it from my various suppliers. Literally everything is possible in terms of customization.
Thank you very much for that. And we wish you well for your sessions.
Thank you.
And for Saturday and Sunday. You only mentioned Sunday earlier on, so we were a bit concerned.
I did, yeah, I know. Sorry, yeah, Saturday. It's all blurring into one.
Imagine what it's like for us.
I can imagine. I just want to say, actually, on that, a massive, massive thank you to everyone that's organised this, all the admin team, all the commentators, all the broadcasters, Mr. Bradley. Especially for Chris, actually, for dealing with me sending multiple messages, changing teams around and all sorts.
That's no problem. I don't object to it at that stage like 2 weeks ago. What I do object to is an hour before qualifying or something like that. So if people have read some snotty messages, it weren't meant that way.
It's a good job you've done. Just thanks to everyone, and everyone just donate, please. Get it done.
Thank you very much, Mark. Does anybody else want to, tell us what's actually happening tonight? Because we're actually in the qualifying session. We're just
now we've done a lovely chat with the ever wonderful Mark Raddenbury. We've lost a lot of the qualifying session, but that's okay because Robbie Stapleford is still at the top with his 2:17. It's 2:17.2. Jack Young has closed the gap slightly there, but only by 11 hundredths, so not by much. So you can see that Filippo Gambrini in third there, with a few cars at the back who yet set a time. We're watching Wilbrink as he tries to set a time at the moment. It looks like he has not got a representative time on the board. We've got Edwin van der Heyden as well without a time and currently red on his Delta. So as you can see by the beautiful display displayed by the ever great Steve Crowley, anybody that is red is currently slower than their fastest lap. Anybody green is currently faster than their fastest lap. And as you can see, some are still going faster and improving on their times, whereas obviously if you're red you're going a bit slower. But you can see as Rink comes through the final corner, will he set a time? Yes, he will. P4 is good enough for P14, still within 2 seconds of Robbie Stapleford. But just to understand, Robbie Stapleford, I believe, professional driver for Rocket Simsport. Anybody gonna comment on that?
I don't know enough about him, so I don't know that.
No. Yeah, obviously, I'm assuming a professional. From what I know, races quite well with a Rocket Simsport. But yeah, you can see the Simon Wilkes positive perception A car, a beautiful, beautiful green. I quite like that green a lot. More fluorescent yellow, but yeah, the currently 2/10 up. Where as he comes through to sector 2, he's currently very quick. That would actually jump him all the way up to place if he can hold 5th place, even if he can hold the time. So and now Stapleford to 10th up. So yeah, maybe you're right, Chris, as we go through the times now, as we've got a yellow flag somewhere, so somebody's had a small spin. Looked like it was the 777 car at the top of the hill. You know, these drivers are incredibly quick. Like Mark said when he was in here, he's put the faster drivers out now. So Simon Wilkes in the 752. I'm not sure where the Ferrari is. I'm looking for a name that I recognise, which I should do, but yeah, the second car is somewhere out there. I believe it'd be Kieran Cox. So, and a 20th, but it's still a respectable time. I don't think I've raced Spa in a long time, so I couldn't tell you how fast I would be compared to these guys. So, yeah. Anyway, so as we come into the last 5 minutes, we're still watching Simon Wilkes, as he's still currently up on his time. He's lost a couple tenths, but still okay as he comes through to the bus stop now, I believe. Yep, there we go. So he comes into the bus stop, he is still positive in the positive perception car as he goes 2 tenths quicker. Does it look like it's going to be a faster time? It is an invalid time. So he invalidated his lap right at the death there. Dennis Workman in the Lexus Modetti 11, Mode 11, sorry, racing. It's a beautiful looking livery, a very funky camouflage as such. As he goes through there, is he currently on a time? Yes, he is. He's 2 tenths up. Jack Young is also 2 tenths up, so he's going to close the gap to Robbie Stapleford on this lap. Robbie looks like he's possibly gone into the pits and come back out, hence why his time is so long. But it's going to be very close at the top here if Jack Young can continue his lap. So it'll be very interesting to see. So as we come into the last 3 minutes of qualifying, we're watching Dennis Workman come through the last section towards Blanchimont and the bus stop.
Interesting, Adam, to see that the times are coming to the drivers now, aren't they, with all the green sectors that are coming up. Yeah, the track is developing nicely. With more cars on it as well, it's going to rubber in maybe just a little bit more than earlier on last night when we only had sort of 15 cars in the server maybe. But yeah, everybody's improving. There's a lot of green sectors out there, and you know, some of the improvements are sort of 2 and 3 tenths, which is going to jump them up the leaderboard somewhere.
I think it's also getting used to this new update. Obviously, with the new update, the physics are slightly different, the setup's different. So they've been doing 4 to 5 weeks of just flat out practicing with a car, and then been told, all right, so everything you know is now wrong, and go back out and try again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from what I've been reading today, a lot of it is fine tuning. It's all about that tyre model and the contact area with the tarmac and the temperatures. So it's you know, it's caster, it's tow, it's everything. It's brake ducts even for the cooling the brakes to keep the heat out of the tyres, things like that. It's just lots and lots of fine tuning to be done, I think, and that fine tuning does take time, doesn't it? And as you rightly say, these guys have had an extra sort of 24 hours to play with setups. Some of their teammates were running last night, so they've got some, you know, invaluable data back to them to see how the cars are on this track in these conditions. So they'll have been fine-tuning all day today, and that is an impressive time from Robbie Stapleford with the 2:17.2. That is the fastest time we've had in any of the qualifying sessions so far. So that's it's looking very good for Robbie.
Absolutely, it is. But more importantly, obviously, we know that this isn't just one lap won't make the difference. So obviously because these laps are aggregated, he could be the fastest guy out here, but if his teammate is 2 seconds slower, you're still adding at least another second onto his time. So he knows that. I don't know if they've run all their cars now, and obviously there's no more to come out for Rocket tonight, but he's obviously, from the times tomorrow, it'll be interesting to see how close they are to the actual pole time, because obviously you can be the fastest guy out there, but your teammate's got to be just as quick in order to take the pole. And you can see that Jack Young has actually closed the gap again by another 0.21 seconds there. So it's very, very close.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, I mean, the Jack Young pushing hard, and that's very important because, as you say, with the average lap times taken into account, the closer Jack can get to Robbie, then the harder it is for Robbie to as a team to get that car on pole position if, for example, his teammate maybe didn't have the best qualifying session.
Absolutely.
And it actually looks like from the times yesterday, with the top cars, you got Jack Young in second place in this split, and he's actually faster than the guys yesterday. So, yeah. And then you got Robbie Stapleford on top with almost half a second advantage. So they definitely learned something from yesterday, and it can only be said that there must be tweaking with the setups and stuff. So we actually got in this stint now, we actually got the 2 fastest cars overall for these last qualifying sessions.
Absolutely. We've got people asking in the chat to see the E-Senior Bentley, but as we watch Will Rink come through, so we've got somebody 5 seconds back. Now, if we were going off of the official timings, as in the 107% rule, and this was the official grid, how many of those guys would actually be out here?
Question, you expect us to do maths at this time of night?
It's only 20 to 8 in the UK currently, so
It must have been up since 5:30.
that's completely fair, but
I don't mean this evening. I think, to be honest, most of them being within the 107% rule. It works out quite high. 100%. I think it's something like 226, 107%.
Things like that. But so, yeah, it'd be still very close, I think. I mean, it's very good to see a lot of the drivers. There's 25 cars, so you'd expect a decent gap, you know. Obviously, not everybody is going to be comfortable in the car, and over 24 hours, their time's going to improve, you know. The longer they go into their stint, the more likely they are to be able to drive harder, race faster. And so it'll be interesting to see how the race develops and where the cars end up.
It certainly will. Dave Hedges has just joined us as well. Good evening, Dave.
Evening, Chris. Evening, Adam. Evening, Brian.
Good evening.
That was an ominous session, wasn't it, from Robbie?
I believe that time was set right at the start as well, the 17-2. So that was a statement of intent, absolutely, from the Rocket guys. You know, they're a professional sim outfit. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got data analysis from obviously Rocket Racing as well. So it's a massive advantage to them. But equally, a lot of the teams that are just, you know, sim racing teams that are a lot of mates clumped together are equally doing really well. And over 24 hours, anything can happen. So
yeah, we saw yesterday. Obviously, Luca Burke is Robbie's teammate. Didn't quite have the pace of some of the others. He wasn't far off the fastest times, but you know, it was an awesome lap by Robbie early on.
Absolutely. So as we now have a little bit of downtime between the 2 sessions, I'm not sure if we're going to take a small break or we are. I've just been told by Steve. So we're going to take a small break now, and when we come back, it will be the second of the night and the final round of qualifying for the SSRi Spa 24 hours qualifying.
And we're back for session 4 of the qualifying for the 24-hour Spa race against cancer charity event, which will be held this weekend. I'm joined in this session by Adam Bent, Brian Larson, Dave Hedges, and behind the cameras is Mr. Steve Proudley. And we're also privileged to have a member of the RIP 101 team with us, Oliver Anderson. Good evening, everybody.
Evening, mate.
Hi, Chris. Looking forward to this one.
You are, or am I?
Well, I am. My teammate's racing in this session, so we'll see how Kieran's going to go. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good one, and we don't see another lap like Robbie's, because we don't want to be too far behind.
No, certainly Robbie did set such a blistering pace. The fastest time of all the qualifying sessions so far, with a 2 minute 17.2 in the previous session. I think people have got a long way to go to catch that time. Do you think anybody that's joining this last session will be able to beat that time?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Robbie's been pretty quick all season in the SSRI GT3 season 7. He's been way out front all season, so it's going to be tough to watch. But obviously, Kieran's on the screen now, so hopefully you'll be able to get an early good lap in.
I believe Robbie will be joining us in a short while for an interview. We're very privileged to have him join us. And actually, here's Robbie now. Excellent. Well done, Robbie, for your previous fastest time. What's it like being a 13-year-old alien?
15-year-old, actually. Yeah, it was pretty hooked up lap, and we've struggled a bit with the update, but I think so has everyone. So we've been practicing quite a bit to see if we can find some time, and I just got the first lap perfect. I tried a couple more laps, but just kept on messing at Eau Rouge. But yeah, it's good to be a pole.
What hex are you using?
What?
What hex are you using? I want
no
to see.
hacks.
What? No.
No hacks. I don't know you're gonna hack.
Did your school know you took the day off today?
No. Don't tell them.
Well, now we're all going to tell him. No, it was great to watch the lap almost. Are you and your team looking forward to Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. We've been doing a lot of prep, and I think everyone's ready for it. I think as long as we survive the first lap, we'll be fine for whichever conditions they bring to us.
Well, you've obviously got Ross and Luca and Callum in your team. Obviously, Callum's not been that well practiced on ACC. He's more of an R Factor 2 guy. So has he managed to have a bit of time to get used to the car?
We're working with Callum well, with helping him at best we can, and we're getting used to it. And I think he enjoys the Aston and is doing well. So I think this 24-hour will be good for him.
Hopefully, not too good.
And has your team managed to raise an incredible amount of money?
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know how you even look. Hopefully.
I won't embarrass you. I won't embarrass you like the other drivers and tell you you've only raised €25 so far. It came out. Sorry, it slipped out. I do apologise.
That's a shame.
Everyone else is doing so well.
Is it not any zeros?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, point 0.00. No, obviously we hope that you do well at weekend. Have you got any people you'd like to say hello to?
Everyone who's supporting Rocket, parents, and anybody else who likes to watch me race, I guess.
Cracking. Now, if you could tell all those people to donate, you'd get off the €25 mark, wouldn't you?
Everyone donate.
This is Robbie that will never come back into a commentary stream ever again.
Well, you're here, Chris.
He's scared now.
Adam, have you got any questions for Robbie?
No.
Need to copy his homework or anything?
It's, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you can send me the answers to question 12. No, honestly, it was an incredible lap to watch you. So just how long have you been sim racing like this then?
I started doing iRacing about mid last year. I then got into Simsport at the end of last year, and then did a bit of British GT at the beginning of this year, and then I got the driver's own show, and then just been working my way up and got into Rocket, and now we're here.
Absolutely. But, I mean, it's incredible. You've got to have incredible talent to be driving with the likes of Rocket. You know, how grateful are you for the experience?
Very grateful. Just ain't met Jensen Bourne yet, so I'm a bit disappointed about that.
Well, I work with John Monroe, and I'm pretty sure he's not met him just yet, so it's all good.
It's still good then. I'm not the only one.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it'll be incredible to watch your progress. And also, Aston Martin, not McLaren. Why is that?
Just gave it a try. We knew it was quick at Spa, and the team wanted a bit of a change, so we thought, why not go Aston? Because
that's not like Rocket alluding to that they're moving to Aston Martins next year. No.
No, I don't think so. I'll be still in the Macca, that's for certain.
Absolutely. But well, we'll be watching your progress very closely across the weekend. Best of luck.
Yes, guys. Thank you.
I've got one more question. Sorry, Robert.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one. Are you hoping for rain, or do you want a dry race?
Oh, I'll drive in any. Rain will be great, but it'll be dangerous. But yeah, whatever it brings.
That's just sent a shudder down to everybody's spine that's racing with you. Or against you, I should say. But Robbie, thank you very much for taking time to join us. Any chance you can join us over the weekend? Let us know how your race is going, any of your teammates as well.
Yeah,
I promise we won't take the mick out of it.
Yeah, we'll sort it. I can imagine probably Saturday afternoon we probably can. Or anytime you want us.
Well, I'm here pretty much all Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening, so I'll be happy to talk with you. So,
cool. I'll make sure I join them then, so Chris don't scare me.
But, yeah, well, best of luck for the weekend.
Cool, thanks, I'll see you later.
See you later. Thanks, Robbie.
Bye.
So we're still 7 minutes in left of free practice as we are riding on board with the 101 car. 101 RAC, Michael Van Diemen behind the wheel. You can see that I believe that's the Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Adam, we can go on better, to be honest. In our chat and commentary, it is a member of the RIP 101 team.
Oh wow! Well, we'll talk with Mr. Oliver Anderson then. But how was your qualifying? How have you qualified, and how did you find it?
The new update really messed us up. It's like magically someone turned the car into an undrivable box overnight. But I think we managed to find a decent in-between thing for the qualifying. We can't be flat out through Paul Fair anymore, but I think we'll manage. It's the same for everyone, and luckily I had that extra day on the guys from yesterday, so...
So how much has the new update affected? Obviously, from what I've been told and from what I've read, it's mostly about the tyres and the physics to do with around the wheels and more specifically the tyres and brakes. How has it affected the handling of the cars?
I have made I can't talk for anything else but the Porsche, but the Porsche have become quite a bit more understeery, and we are struggling a bit to get the temps right in the tyres. But I think we will manage before the race to figure it all out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so what are your hopes for the race? Going in with no expectations and just enjoying it, or
beating the 787 car, obviously. That's the number one goal.
Would you like to explain that, Oliver?
Yeah, absolutely.
The banter that's been going on between your two teams, and what challenge you've been posed today by me? Sorry, the admin team.
Have we been posted a challenge? I haven't seen that.
Well,
I hope it's not the water challenge.
Yeah, would you like to explain to us what this competition is? Obviously, I know nothing about this. I'm going to be talking about you across the weekend, so I'd love to know just a little bit more about what this challenge is.
I don't know about the challenge, but I can tell you how it all started.
Go for it.
We don't have the time. It will be a long story.
Can you give us a brief summary for everybody that's watching as well, so we can know who to root for?
It's actually not that long, but it started at Imola, where they claimed that they were better than us because they beat us by 30 seconds in the end. And we were like, yeah, you beat us, but we had a disconnect and caught up 2 laps on you over the last half hour. But in the end, it's the results that count, so technically they did beat us. And technically we also beat some Spinkling at Kailami, and that's why we have printed on t-shirts that we have beaten him.
I think Chris has laid down the gauntlet, hasn't he? If you haven't seen the gauntlet, Oliver, if Team 101 beats 787, then they have to buy all the drivers of 101 pizza, and vice versa. So whoever wins, there's pizza coming their way.
Well, as long as Chris isn't the delivery guy, then it will be favored before they get here. So.
Hey, do you want to tell them the twist?
Yeah,
The twist?
What kind of twist? What's the twist? I
don't know what the twist is.
The twist at the bottom is the competition isn't just on track. It will go off the amount of money each team has raised too.
Yes, and I have a challenge to all the viewers and people watching. Donate €1 for the RIP 101 team, and I will keep my Movember mustache for an extra day for every euro donated. And yes, this will force me into celibacy since my girlfriend doesn't like the beer. But support.
So if you want to bully somebody into celibacy, then donate another euro to Team 101.
You're a brave man.
So,
Well, everyone wants something for their buck, and this is probably the best value for their money they can get.
I think it's the opposite of bang for your buck there, so...
Yes, it's perfect for the people who donate.
Well, best of luck across the weekend, buddy.
Thank you, we're gonna need it badly.
So we've got 2 minutes left of free practice. Starting to get dark, which is always interesting when you're just spotting your braking points, etc. When you're out on the track. Especially now, it's cars do handle a lot differently since the update. You've got weird understeer, which Oliver was alluding to, or you've got some very unusual oversteer. So the cars under braking, much more nervous, which I expect them to be quite like that in real life. So yeah, it's going to be tricky for the guys out there, and girls, in fact. I think Sam Pearce, I think maybe her team Redline Zach is running today, I think as well.
Well, I need to find the entry list again at some point. Like I'm trying to run through the Discord now. Look, there we go. That's the entry list. So let's have a quick look now at the entry list. So yeah, I mean, it's a vast entry list and a lot of varied cars. Obviously, a lot of Aston Martins, being Spa. A lot of people seem to favour the V8 Aston Martin as opposed to most cars. A few McLarens, Bentleys. I think if we look at the bottom, we can see there's obviously 13 of the 45 cars are Aston Martins, and I mean, if you look at a grid of 45 cars, that's a small amount, but actually quite a lot in terms of a GT3 endurance.
Yeah, the Aston Martin was always, it has been probably one of the quickest cars at Spa over an endurance race, because it is quite forgiving throughout the stint. It didn't tend to burn through its tyres. The dry setups were always very good in the wet as well. So it was always a good choice for a 24-hour, and I know certainly we chose the Aston specifically for the 24-hour, and just sort of took the hit on the other tracks in terms of its performance. But obviously we've done quite well through the series, won all but one of the races. So we're doing pretty well in terms of the two Simsport teams which have joined forces for this 24-hour.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Aston Martin, and I would say it's probably the safe choice. It is pretty much the MX-5 of the GT3 world at the moment. Very stable in most conditions, and just a nice car to drive. You're looking through the entry list as well. We've got only 4 McLaren 720Ss, including Rocket, who you'd expect to be in a 720S, obviously, with their partnership with McLaren, in an Aston Martin. There's more. In fact, there's more Ferraris, Bentleys, and Lexuses than McLarens.
And only one Honda.
And only one Honda. Yeah, one brave team, Dynamic Motorsports, in the beautiful 937 Acura, or Honda as we will call it. So, and a Nissan as well, a 2018 GT3 GTR Nissan. So very interesting. Nobody's been brave enough to pick the Jaguar.
Yes,
Brave enough or
silly
stupid enough.
Well, I think with a charity race like this, you've got to, you've got to be very. These guys have been. Some teams have been very safe with their choice. The Aston Martin, and then you've got the team in the 911 GT3 Cup as a guest entry. I'm not quite sure about the story behind them. I would love to hear from somebody that does know a bit more about it as to what they're actually doing and what they're trying to do for the cause that we're trying to raise money for this weekend.
Stin, who's approached me and asked if he could race the Cup car, is going to join us on the stream on Saturday, hopefully, and explain his reasons why he has chosen his livery, the Cup car itself, and they are quite personal reasons. So I'm pleased that he's going to come and join us and explain that.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, I'm just looking at the entry list now. So the Nissan GTR is driven by Richard Pixley. Now, I know that Richard and Mark are very good friends. So I think at some point we've got to try and lay down a gauntlet for one of those two. Whether we try and get those two to have a competition like the 101 and 787 car. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if those two go head-to-head on track, what it's like. Because I know that they race each other in the Positive Perception series, and I think in a couple other series as well. It'd be interesting to see.
The Nissan is a capable car. It takes a bit of getting used to, but it's certainly got some pace. And if it does rain, it's again the front engined cars do tend to be a bit safer in the rain. And Spa being Spa, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get some rain over the 24 hours.
Absolutely, and obviously one of the common jokes, I don't know if it is within the SRI, but the Boatley, as a lot of my friends know it by obviously the Bentley, it's supposedly quite good in the wet.
It's a very capable car. Again, heavy, it rides the curves very well. I've raced it for a couple of seasons in the Simsport racing GT3s, and the big fuel tank helps if there's not short stint times, which obviously for the race this weekend it's 65 minutes, so they can't take as much advantage of the bigger fuel tank, but it does perform well on its fuel consumption, so it's very capable. Ross McGregor and John Munro, they used to race it in our series, and they did very, very well in it. It's a very fast car, and it's much improved over from when it was first released. The gearing used to be very long. You couldn't even get into 6th gear up at the top of the Kemmel Straight, which has changed quite a bit now. So that's all good. It's much more competitive than it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting car. I mean, I think personally one of the nicest looking cars in a GT3 grid. Obviously, you look at your luxury brands, you don't expect a brand like Bentley to race in a GT series, but they've been doing it for a long time now, and they do really well at it as well.
They do. They won, I think it was the Bathurst race, the 24 or the 12-hour race 2 years ago. It's also, that it just shows how quick that car can be in real life, and obviously Kunos and the guys at SRO have tried to make the sim as close as possible to the real world performance. Hence why they've brought out a new BOP for every season of tracks that they brought out. We're now in multiplayer locked to the 2021 BOP, so there's no variations on tracks, etc. So it's always running to the same performance level. So that's going to make it a bit easier when running championships for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It will very much make it a lot easier for especially competitions where you do mix the tracks, because obviously we have the British GT, we have the Blancpain.
I'll explain that if you wish.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead, if you want to explain how qualifying's working.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, we are reacting to the message in chat. Thank you very all for joining the stream, and reading some of the comments is quite interesting, some quite funny, so thank you for that. Keep them going. So we have a 24-hour race on Saturday/Sunday, and in order to enter the 24-hour race, we obviously have to do a qualifying session to determine the grid. The fair way of doing that is we ask the teams to submit 2 drivers to qualify, 2 drivers only. We host 4 separate qualifying sessions, and they're free to join any session they want on a first come first serve basis. That's why you're seeing these 2 final sessions, or this final session, the one previous to this, had a full complement of 25 drivers, and the average time of the 2 drivers will be used to determine the grid positions. Any teams that don't submit 2 drivers or don't bother turning up automatically get a 5-minute penalty. So if one driver turns up and sets a 2:14, or 2:14, that's ridiculous, a 2:18, and the second driver doesn't turn up, then obviously they're on a 7-minute 18. Divide that by 2. I don't do maths this time of night. Is a big number. So they start nearer the back. Any team that doesn't submit any drivers, or they don't turn up at all, they get 5 minutes. So I hope that explains well in my babbling tongue, and I'll let the professionals take back over.
Absolutely. Well, as we are 14 minutes left of the session, you can see that Kieran Vidago is at the top currently with a 2:18.0, so that's 8 tenths slower than the pole time set by Robbie Stapleford. So that is very much a statement of intent. We're seeing the Wild Things Racing Aston Martin here of Leo Hervinen coming through what looked like Blanchemont and towards the camper section of corners. So we can see that he's in 2nd place and 5 tenths down. Everybody currently on green time, so the times will still drop. In fact, Leo Hervinen is looking very likely to set a faster time than Kieran Vidago if he keeps going at this rate. And there we go, he just invalidates the time there, going towards Blanchemont. So you can see that the other drivers, all currently, except for Michael Van Diemen and Kieran Vidago, in the top 10, that are all improving on their times. Obviously Leo Hervinen just invalidating his time. So Pascal Eckstein in the Team Hot Air Balloon Motorsport car, the 911 car, so obviously a very elusive number for Porsche, as he goes sideways into the long left-hander there. Very, very brave there, sending that a very long way through the... There we go, Pouon. Sorry, lost my little track map then. So you can see that Lars Odegaard for Team DGTL Racing coming through the bus stop, following, looked like, the Mode 11 racing car. It is indeed the Mode 11 racing car. I'm not quite sure who's in the car, but they are racing very closely, so whether they're going to impede each other during their lap is not quite sure, as he stops there, so he's just done now. Ant Brown for the Positive Perception B team, as Mark said, in the beautiful blue, black and white Ferrari, coming through the bus stop. Currently sat in 13th place. He is improving on his time. In fact, that's a great improvement on his time as he jumps up to 11th, but is still over a second faster, and that's a very good time by him. Kieran Vidago now loses the pole, in fact, by 0.048 of a second to Lasse Odegaard. So you can see it's now Chris Vickers comes through in the Team Abbey Racing Ferrari. Very beautiful colours, the green, red and black there. It comes and sets a time good enough for P3. So Kieran Vidago in the SSRi car comes through towards what looks like the camper section of corners he is. You can see he's pushing as hard as he can here. He goes through Stabilo. Beautiful line there, just uses as much curb as he almost spins. Has to abandon his lap there, so Kieran Vidago, after setting a really good Sector 1 and Sector 2, loses it going into Sector 3. It allows a lot of the other drivers to catch up with his time here. You can see at the back, we've got Milan Duma on a current time that's going to set, current lap that will set him a second faster than his current, which would actually only put him to 16th place. So the times in this session are a lot closer. We have a few drivers at the back yet to set their times. Obviously, Dimitri, unfortunately I cannot pronounce that last name. I don't want to butcher it, unfortunately. Brian Scheckerman, Casper Hugard, and Andreas Westkamp at the back there waiting to set their times, as it looks like John Benton has jumped up to 7th, I believe, and we are watching Milan Duma come through towards the end of his lap here. We've got a slow car into the bus stop, but that's disappeared now. 452 coming through very quick, beautiful looking quick fit livery. Not sure whether they have any affiliation with quick fit, but it's looking amazing as they come through the bus stop. Very smooth entry, very smooth exit, heading up towards the line. It looks good for a very quick time, and he goes up to only 17th. So despite an amazing lap there, very smooth lap, only good enough for 17th place.
Yeah, we're seeing
quicker than a quick fit fitter, can you?
We're seeing a lot of clumps of cars here, aren't we, on their laps, and some of them are getting amongst cars that are on laps, you know, which they'll be shown blue flags. If they're getting too close, it makes it quite difficult when you don't time your leaving of the pit right.
And we got a new fastest lap from John Baton in that it's a very vibrant colour, that car. But yeah, and I believe it was a Lexus. We've got Brian Vickers also displacing Lasso Ugard for second place. So Kieran and Lass, after setting the fastest laps in the first 10 minutes, have both lost their positions to Chris and John. So we can see that the times are getting ever closer. In fact, you look all the way down, you've got to go as far as 16th place to find anybody outside of a second of that time, and that's a very impressive stat. Just 16 cars win the second. It may not seem bad, but if you add those as a relative time in a track, and you had 16 cars training like that, it'd be an impressive look, and the only time you'll probably see that is in lap 1.
Just going back to the bright pink car that you pointed out earlier on, I believe that's another quirk with the ACC update. That was actually a red car earlier on.
Yeah, I'm looking now, it's Sim Racing Holland on the entry list. And yeah, it's red on the entry list, but it's bright pink on the track, so whether that's a small glitch of the update that's corrupted the file, we're not, obviously, we wouldn't know, I wouldn't know the first thing. Obviously, hopefully we'll get that fixed for the weekend and they will return to red. However, as you can see, we are slowly getting towards the end of the session. We're now just under 8 minutes away from the checkered flag for the final qualifying session here. We're following Daniel Togney as he comes through down the hill towards the corner with no name. In 6th place currently, sort of matching his times at the moment. He's now going a bit slower, but if you look further back, we've got drivers on faster laps. You can see Kieran Vidago is trying to push as hard as he can to get closer to the top 3. In fact, you see the top 3 are separated by less than 1/10 of a second. We're looking at Formula 1 qualifying that levels there as 25 cars on the track, and they're separated by all the way down to 24th by 2.6 seconds. So if these drivers are all on track together this weekend, it's going to be a very, very impressive race for sure.
Especially at the first corner.
Especially at the first corner. Yeah, we're hoping that nobody comes to grief at the first corner, because 24 hours is the last thing you need.
That beautiful Honda.
That is a very beautiful Honda.
That's the Van Newark Simsport racing team, even though it's called Dynamic at the bottom. I'm very proud of that. That's actually my team.
Is that your team, is it?
It is. My name appears on that car, but I've been kicked out of it, but let's not go there.
How slow were you? How slow were you? Were you going to take them outside the 107%, Chris?
More like 130.
Looks like Vidago improved there on that lap, but only by 18 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So he is now almost within that 10th. So Kieran clearly wants to join the gang at the front of very quick drivers, because despite it being about 6 tenths, 7 tenths slower than Robbie Stapleford's pole time, it's still rapid.
And Odegaard here is, you know, he's I've been watching his lap times the last couple of laps, and he's always around the point 1, point 2 up by the time he gets to Blanchimont, but seems to lose it towards the end in the bus stop. So you know, if he holds that time there, he's on for the fastest lap of the session.
Well, there you go. Yeah, well, he's already 3 tenths quicker. So if he goes 3 tenths quicker, that's a very, very good statement of intent there, and in fact put him fairly close to Robbie Stapleford as he goes a bit wide, but it's still valid as he comes through. No, that's too wide there. Too wide, and he does invalidate his lap, which is really unfortunate because he's had it together. And there is, I believe, his teammate Casper in the matching car. So Casper now has a chance to close the gap to the front 4. Currently just under 2 tenths up. So we'll see whether the teammate ducks out of the way or not. Doesn't look like he's going to. Whether he's pulling him along, it's almost 3 tenths quicker there. So he's gained a lot of time coming through the final turn. We're going to see how close this puts him to the pole time. It is not good enough for pole. It's only good enough for 5th. So despite the tow from his teammate, it's only good enough for 5th there. So we can see a lot of drivers are still improving. So as the times progress, the setups are progressing. People are starting to understand how the new tyre update works. We can see that the times are dropping as we're now under 5 minutes left, and we can still see that John Benton is on the pole with the Lexus for this round of qualifying. Obviously we won't know who's actually on the pole until after the sessions tonight, and the admins and team sit down and start playing with maths, which I'm glad I'm not part of. So as you can see, you can see quite clearly that a lot of these drivers know that the average is what's important and want to get their times as close as they can to the front. You know, it's not about being the fastest, it's just trying to maintain that average, because you don't want to be the one driver that brings down the average.
Yeah, we're seeing Hervenen here, 0.4 seconds up on his fastest lap, so yeah, that's going to put him well up into the top 4 or 5 there.
Well, if he's only 4 tenths up, he'll probably only put him as good as 7th, I believe.
Well, he's 0.6 behind the pole time currently, so it'll take him probably 0.2. So maybe a bit behind Vidago or Hugard.
Well, he's
just about to come across the lap.
It's a very, very nice exit. The Aston Martin runs as wide as he physically can, comes towards the line. It's a new fastest lap. So we all stand corrected as he sets the fastest lap of the session now at 2:17.7. So after us saying, oh, he won't get as close, he's straight back in the pits. And
to be fair, I think Dave did say he would go faster.
I wasn't expecting to see that much time gain in the bus stop chicane. I'll be brutally honest. But hey, if it works, it works. And honestly, good on him. Brilliant time there. We've got a few other drivers on fast laps. If my screen would like to depixelate, there we go. We've got Alessandro Premi 2 tenths up on his time. So it should be interesting to see. Simon Pike, where are we looking? We're looking down at 23rd. He's currently invalid. Pretty sure his time is currently invalid. Oh, it's a shame. We've got Alessandro Premi coming through. So he's already 2 tenths up, and he's not even into Sector 2 yet. So he's only just come through Sector 1 and Sector 2. And that time, Daniel Togni as well. Togni is currently, looks like 2 to 3 tenths up. We've got Mike Abranusa at the back, who was 3 tenths up, but has just invalidated his time. Chris Vickers has also won a faster lap. So Chris looks like he could set a faster lap here as he comes through. He's only on the Camel Straight, so he's got a long way to go yet.
He's had a very good first turn there, I think. You know, if you get a good exit out of La Source, you've got it all the way up the hill. So it's done pretty well there.
It's pretty much out all the way to the end of the Camel Straight, isn't it? There's a small lift off as you come through Radion.
It is, yeah.
But you're pretty much flat all the way through, and if you've got a toe as well through there, I'd say that's a good 10th at least.
And the Ferrari's strong in the mid sector as well. It's very, obviously, as we know, it's very twisty. The car's normally pretty planted around the mid section. So to get a good first sector is really important on the lap. But it looks like he's dropped that off already, unfortunately.
It's a big shame, but you can see that Guillaume Vidago is also trying to set past the lap, and currently green Matthew Kennedy, Pascal Eckstein, Mike Abenosa, Damien De Kelso, Anthony Brown also setting a fast lap. Ant Brown is only a second slower, but down in 17th. That's a very impressive time from Ant, despite being down in 17th.
So Vidago's up nearly 0.2 up, I think, on this lap. He's just lost it on Les Combes, unfortunately.
It's really unfortunate, but he's still got a lot of the lap left to go, so he could still find time elsewhere. But I think a lot of the drivers, there's a lot of grip going up by Rouge now. But as we're literally about to tick down to the checkered flag, we've got a yellow flag waving somewhere on the circuit. There is the checkered flag. So number 15 has just finished, I believe. We've got a few cars going towards the end now. We've got somebody 4 tenths up, but they've just lost that all. So I'm not quite sure where they've lost it, but yeah, we're looking at Mike Abrenoso, who's also 5 tenths up as they come through. Looks smooth, doesn't look like there's much wrong with that. It's 5 tenths up currently, so it's looking very much likely that he'll jump a decent chunk of places towards the end of the session here. Currently 15th place in the Ferrari. Ferrari runs a little bit wide, but that's fine as he comes through Bonchemont towards the bus stop chicane. Doesn't look like anything wrong with that line there as he comes heavy braking zone now. Does he brake late? No, he's broke perfectly there. He comes around the final corner. It's looking very quick. It's in fact almost 7 tenths up there as he came through the final turn. Still 6 tenths up. He'll go up to 8th place. And I'll be very happy with that, going from 15th to 8th.
Yeah, it was an awesome last part of the lap there. Unfortunately, he just looked like he lost a little bit of time on the exit of the bus stop, which just drained the time away as he got towards the end of the line.
Well, so that is qualifying. So within 24 hours we will find out who has actually got the pole. But Robbie Stapleford taking the fastest lap across this session, these 2 sessions. So you can see the spotters guide there. We've got a few of the cars there. We've got Sim Racing Holland, Mode 11, Rocket Simsport, IDC Racing, Odyssey Racing, 610 Motorsports car, and I couldn't go fast enough. But yeah, some beautiful cars here, as you can see. The CBSR car, reminiscent of the Ken Block livery of Current. Wild Things Racing in their Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. Looks like a JPS inspired Parc Fermé Enduro racing car there as well. On this list we've got a lot of Aston Martins and Ferraris there, and 1 Bentley Continental. Some beautiful liveries there. 2, sorry, stand corrected. We've got Downforce Esports, TVN, Green Moose, EGT, Positive Perception, A&B, Sim Racing Devils, and Miata Racing Team on this page here, and there are some very lovely liveries. And we've got the last lot here: Pulse Motorsport, Ghost Racing, both cars there, Team Hot Air Balloon Motorsport, and Van Newark Simsport. So, as we come towards the end of the stream here, any standout moments from the stream?
Certainly Robbie's time from the previous session. From this stream, we've had quite a few fast drivers: Kieran, Chris Vickers, to name but 2. And we look forward to Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'd be I believe it's myself and Brian opening the stream on Saturday, so it will be very interesting to see where these drivers are actually lined up after the session end. Well, the sessions are all collated and the averages are put out. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of fast drivers out there, and obviously endurance racing is all about consistency over the 24 hours and basically driving as far and the furthest as you can.
Yeah.
So teams of 3 or 4 that with drivers all the same speed are going to do well, as long as they can stay out of trouble, stay out the walls, stay off crashes of server, and of their computers, etc. So it is a race of attrition.
Absolutely. Well, we all know the expression, you can't win the race in turn 1, and we're 24-hour race. That's absolutely the case. Would you, if say you were racing this now with your team, would you put a faster driver in at the start, or would you put somebody in that he's not going to crash in that first hour? I
think you've got to make sure you enter a team that you can be fairly happy with, whoever starts. I think it will either be Regan or Kieran. For us, it'll be starting the race, and they're both safe hands. As well as if I or Chris Pinchbeck decided to do so. It doesn't really make much difference to us. There will be some teams out there with some quick drivers, and I think they will probably want to ensure that they are starting the race. It's important to get a good start, get away well, not cause yourself too much issue in terms of slowing each other down at the start of the race, but obviously you don't want to be left behind early on, because 65 minutes is enough to get quite far behind if you've got some really quick drivers out there.
Absolutely. And well, more importantly, the evening and the morning stints, possibly those real life endurance drivers describe it as the hardest point in any endurance race, driving into the sunset and driving into the sunrise. Any idea how the driver's going to react to that?
It's difficult. Especially the sun here, it hits certain corners when it's low. If the guys have got their graphics settings turned up, then you get a very, very bright windscreen. The shadows into the bus stop is they're quite difficult as well, just to pick your braking point. So it's tricky, but then you get into the night and you can settle down to a rhythm. As long as you got not too many cars around you, you can just pump in the lap times and hopefully make up some time on other people.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, as we all know, it's a race for charity, and I think a lot of the drivers are obviously wanting to be quick this weekend and obviously want the result, but equally I think a lot know that the race is just got to be mostly about racing against cancer. So any donations help. The donation link will be up across the weekend, and we'll probably keep a running total as we go through the stream. It would be absolutely great to see us easily surpass the 10k, and hopefully towards the 20k as we get towards the middle of the weekend. So everybody that is watching, anybody that wants to watch this weekend, anybody that feels like catching up on the stream, the link is still live, and any donation will be greatly appreciated. So if not for for us, do it for yourself, help out a great cause. And even if it's €1, every little penny, every single euro makes a massive difference to somebody else's life. So if you can even just donate €1, then it still helps to a massive cause.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much for that. Steve, can you just join us for 2 minutes and remind everybody what time the stream starts over the weekend?
Certainly can, Chris. We're looking to go live at 11:15, so we'll have sort of a 10-15 minute build up towards the race. We'll run through the qualifying results, we'll do a quick chat through the spotters guide, and ready for the action to go live at 11 o'clock. The race will start at 11 o'clock, stream will start at 11:15.
So that's 11 o'clock UK time, correct?
Correct, mate, yeah, 11 o'clock UK time.
So 12 o'clock European time.
But well, it's been a pleasure, lads. I'll be obviously talking to you all across the weekend. Steve, you're in it for the long run.
24
doing
hours.
As many hours as you physically can. I'll be sending some pizza and 5-hour energies or whatever they're called your way.
Oh mate, everybody's heard it here first.
Well, I've got my energy drinks sorted, and I'll have to get my girlfriend's over this weekend, so I'll have to get her to feed me pizza while I commentate. So I think it'll be an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure as always to talk with you guys and talk with everybody on the stream and in the comments. It'll be an absolute pleasure to talk to you all across the weekend, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.